Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's Market Update. Welcome to 2026. We only have a few days behind us in this year, but already we are showing signs that we will have a more promising real estate market in 2026 than we saw in 2025. One of our biggest challenges in 2025 was lack of inventory and an astronomically low number of sales as a result. It's already looking like we're going to see more inventory this year. Not a huge amount, not anything mind-blowing, but it does appear from what I'm seeing and what my colleagues are seeing that we will likely see some relief in 2026. So we will be closely tracking these numbers to see if in the coming weeks and months that shapes up to be true. So that being said, let's take a look at this past week in Morristown, Chatham, Madison, Harding, Morris Plains, Mendham, Chester, Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, and Randolph. This past week, we saw 18 homes come in the market in these towns, which is much larger than we typically see. However, last week, during Christmas week, we only saw 6 homes come on the market. So it's somewhat of a relief from that still if you average out the two, lower number of homes coming in the market than typical. Out of these, 13 were single family houses and 5 were condos or townhouses. The average list price of homes coming on the market this past week was $2,011,000. However, we saw one home come on the market in Mendham at $4.5 million. That was the only home that came on the market in Mendham. So that brought the average list price up this past week. Total inventory. We have extremely low inventory. Before we went into the holidays, we were talking about how crazy that the numbers were in the low 140s for active inventory. Last week that dipped down to 139, and this week we are at 131 homes actively on the market. Total homes sold. We saw 11 homes sell this past week. Last week though, we saw a staggering 25 homes sell. So this past week, just 11 homes sold. Average list price of these homes was $866,000. The average sale price was $877,000. So this past week, we saw homes sell for an average of 2.6% above the list price. We saw 2 towns where homes sold below the list price. One was Mendham, where homes sold for an average of 2% below the list price. And the other one, surprisingly, Basking Ridge, homes sold for 7.2% below the list price. Otherwise, homes for the rest of the towns went above list price, anywhere from 1% all the way up to 14% above the list price in Bernardsville this past week. The average days on market this past week for those homes sold was 39 days. And then under contract, once again, under contract is the least complete data, but the most current data. And we saw 7 homes go under contract this past week with an average list price of $982,000 and a shocking 75 median days on market, although we saw one home sell in Mendham that was on the market for 128 days. So that substantially skews that number. If we look into last week with the 11 homes that went under contract, those had a median days on market of just 16 days. So interesting data this past week and the week before, both holiday weeks. So it'll be really interesting and much more telling what happens in the market the next few weeks. So that being said, if you have been working this week and your weekend has not already started, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will catch you guys again next week.